Right, now this will tell us. And that's pretty conclusive. Still going. Close. I think he got it down.
How strong is he?
Welcome back to the Pick and Go podcast, your one-stop shop for all things rugby union, and in this case, Super Rugby. Once again, I'm joined in studio by my good friend, Pity Weepu. Pity, welcome back, bro.
Good to be back. Good to be back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you learned any a triple suplex or any other sort of moves while in the last week or so?
Nah, I just wanted to save myself for maybe an opportunity next year. Might have to pull out the Stone Cold Stunner.
Oh,
I'll probably end up hitting my ass.
yeah. Watch the space, wrestling fans. We're also joined, as usual, by a good friend, Ben Searle of Surly Talk Sports. Surly, welcome back in, bro.
Yeah, I thought you two would be on Mad Tuesday, still going, right, after the Canes departed the competition early.
Oh,
Hey, you can't talk, mate. Your team
Lucky loser.
stuffed up everything too for us.
Just shout out to the Super Rugby finals system, one of the best systems I've ever seen. It was pure genius.
Oh, the Chiefs, yeah. If there's one team they didn't want to face, it was the Hurricanes, so they definitely made sure of it. Last weekend, was there a bit of college footy?
Not on the weekend. No, we played on Wednesday, traditional against Rongotai College, and the boys got the dub, but it wasn't pretty. But yeah, we got there in the end. We got a big game tomorrow against St. Pat's Silverstream.
Well, is that out their way?
No, it's Wellington College, and it's televised from Sky Sport. Thank goodness. Even though I'm looking at my number one field thinking, what the hell? Come on, son, dry it up.
Bit of rain out that way.
Oh, we had the field turned around, and then there's 2 games that got played on Saturday on it, and yeah, she's pretty shit house.
Oh, righty-ho.
So I'm praying that there's going to be a bit of sun and a bit of wind tomorrow to try and dry it up before kickoff.
Okay, let's hope. Well, I often hear that there's never a shortage of wind down here in Wellington, but just when you want it, goes all calm.
Exactly.
Surly, your weekend?
No, we had the bye, so didn't lace up. But speaking of high school footy, I went along to Westlake Rosmini. That one was on Sky Sport as well. Good game. Glad to see Westlake get the dub because Rosmini, they were coming in confident. They were talking it up. So Westlake remain the best school on the North Shore and on planet Earth. A big win for the boys.
Is that a traditional rivalry, Rosmini and Westlake?
Yeah, that's the biggest one on the North Shore for sure. So it was good to get the dub. And just great to see high school footy back on Sky Sport, eh? Like, it's just, that year or two that it was missing wasn't ideal. There's just so much young talent out there, and it's a great platform for them. So even if you can't make it to the games, the fact you can tune in on Sky is unreal, I reckon.
Is that a good thing, though? Like,
well,
that we haven't had it televised, maybe only have a couple games here and there, just so people can still keep interested in footy?
Are you saying we should have more on televised or less, or
probably not a big amount, but I still I feel like sometimes it's gives these kids a bit of a big head, like they're
well, that's your job to just bring them back down to earth, then
humble them.
Oh, yeah. Anyone gets a big hit, right? Wait for training on Tuesday. Yeah. Don't worry about the ball. Don't need the ball.
See that hill? Start running.
Oh, sweet. Right. First of all, we're going to have a look back to last week's punting.
Oh, can we not?
Yeah, I don't think we need to, do we?
We probably don't, because none of us won anything. We'll
just keep it at that.
I mean, I think you might have been the closest. You went with all the home teams to win.
Yeah, and then I think Shirley might have had a word to a couple of the boys to make sure that...
yeah, I just told Luke Jacobson it's not worth it this week, hey? Just save yourself for next week. So.
Is it shooter? Don't overplay your hand there, cuz.
Exactly. You got to keep a few things in the duffel bag for next week.
Right. Yeah. Forget about it. We were terrible in terms of punting, so we won't go over it. I think, you just had your big multi with all the home teams to win.
Well, I just tried to steal one of your ideas.
Well, it wasn't far away.
Well,
But for an 82nd or 83rd minute try to the Blues, you get a little collect, which is quite strange for you, to be fair, this season. Well, I'm just saying.
and the thing was, I actually was a pretty easy one for me. Usually, I come up with these random ass ones.
Yes,
but,
yes.
And they still don't work.
Well, that's what happens when you back against the Hurricanes, even though they didn't win.
Anyway.
Okay, so we'll move on to a question for this week. And in that Chiefs-Blues matchup, there are a couple of almost tries. Bodie with the kick through and then tried to slide across the line with the ball. But, boy, the conditions must have been really slippery because the ball just popped out like a bar of soap or something. Just
either that or it got stuck. That's what it looked like. Bodie looked like he was about to slide in all the way. He pretty much did.
Well, he did, but the ball didn't follow him in as well. So
it was a pretty good opportunity. I think that would have been like potentially the turning point in the game. They would have built more momentum from that.
Yeah. It was that sort of game. And then, of course, Cortez Ratima, just the bouncing ball, it just did not bounce his way, and he was around a metre off the try line, and just knocked it on. So those were two very, very good almost tries. Can you guys come up with any sort of almost tries from way back in the day? We'll start with you first, Shirley.
Wouldn't say way back in the day, but the first one, I had two that popped into mind straight away. The first one was Rico Ioane against the Wallabies at the Cake Tin. Was it 2020? I think Wallabies line out, the boys turn it over, pretty much go the length of the field, and all he has to do is put the ball down and drops it on the way down. And there were a lot of people that were very angry about him for that one post that game. The second one was actually in the Rugby League World Cup, and it was when Sonny Bill, 2013, slipped over the dead ball line against Samoa. Certainly didn't expect that from a player of Sonny Bill's caliber, and I reckon that's got to be one of the most embarrassing ones up there. Have you guys seen that Samoan Sevens try where the guy's in the in goal?
Oh, yeah.
He goes to pop it to Danny Tusitala and he passes it forward and the ref's like, what are you up to? And brings it back. I reckon that one's the worst one I've seen. And then Sonny Bill not far behind that.
Pity, yours?
Yeah, there's actually, that come to mind. There's a couple. One's Tana when he dropped the ball over the line, going to put it down, and Cully was the other one. And so, like, ever since then, Nemi has been hard on our boys, making sure that whenever we score tries, even at training, has to be done with two hands. And if you don't score with two hands, it's like a turnover, and the boys get to run off down the other way and try and stop the boys. So, and he emphasizes that with the boys too, that like if you're not in control of it, then you're no good to us.
So who was Tana's almost try against?
Oh, I can't remember who it was against.
Was it a Hurricanes, for the Hurricanes?
Yep.
Okay.
I think Cully's might have been the same. Or was he was it AB's? I think. And then, actually the other one was Goldie when he got tackled.
That's George Gregan.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a pity we don't have Goldie on this week. He'll be on next week.
Lucky, otherwise I would have been slayed.
Yeah.
But there, I think that was 1994 All Blacks against Australia, Bledisloe Cup test over, I think it was in Sydney, and Goldie beat his man, was going for the corner to win the game, and Gregan came across with one of the best try-saving tackles of all time, knocked the ball out of Goldie's hands as he was diving over the line.
In the corner.
That one, in fact, I'm sure Goldie's probably sick of hearing about it, so it's probably good that he's not on the podcast this weekend. And there's also one from, you guys might not remember this one, 1983.
Oh,
It was a Ranfurly Shield Challenge, Wellington against Canterbury. Canterbury had just taken it off Wellington the season before, and then Wellington went down and got the challenge, then a challenge next season down to Lancaster Park. It was in the first half, and I think it was Alan Houston who kicked the ball through. Bernie Fraser chased it. The ball was over the try line. Bernie sort of slid down, and the ball, as he went to grab the ball, it popped out of his hands, and he put his hands down on the ground, but the ball had gone that way. From where we were sitting in the stands, it looked like he had scored. We were up and about, and then we were going, why isn't the ref awarded? Oh, no.
There would have been no replays back then too, eh? With your eyes.
Yeah, I don't think, no, they didn't have the big scoreboards back then at the ground. So it was like, oh, no. And then Canterbury went on and won the game, and then that was the start of their long Shield tenure down there. So,
so it's Wellington's fault.
it's unbelievable. Oh.
Have you ever had moments like that where you've had the ball knocked out or you gone silly?
No, I'm lucky to get that close to the try line. So every opportunity I get, I like to make sure of it. That's for sure. I've had one though. It was in high school, and one of the boys tried to get real fancy. He like put the ball down, but then flicked it up over his head at the same time. Like as he grounded it, he flicked it up in like this big celebration, and the ref decided that he hadn't put the ball down. He just flicked it dead in the end goal. The poor bloke, he heard about it for weeks. But no, I don't get in scoring situations too often. So I'm definitely a two-hand over the line, just put it down, make sure of it, and then let everyone know after that I have scored a try. But how about you, Putty? You must have had a couple.
Oh, mate, I hardly scored any tries. I was too busy trying to make sure if I tried to pick and go near the try line, I wasn't getting in trouble. Oh, yeah, you have it. In case my mates were like, leave it alone. Especially Namir. Namir would bloody kill me if I tried to pick and go and score a try. So, no, I never really had many opportunities. I think my career, I'd probably say 10 max was all I scored throughout my career. So not many opportunities.
Wellington, Hurricanes,
No.
Wainui, Petone.
No.
What?
Huddle boys, no, don't have any there.
Jeez.
I have stopped a few where people have gone over the line and I've just whacked the ball out of there.
Punched it out of their hands.
Yeah. I've done a couple like that and I'm like, sorry, bro.
I had one. I didn't even have to run very far. It was like it came out of a maul or a ruck, and I got the ball and I was going to dive in the corner, and I think their loose forward came across and just coat hanged me right across the head. I got knocked out. I lost the ball forward, and the ref goes, knock on. 5 minutes. I didn't even get a penalty for it. I was out. And then they came on with the water, from the water on. Oh, you okay? Yeah. Okay, so I played the rest of the game. I don't remember the rest of the game. I don't remember finishing. The next thing I remember, we're on the back of a ute going back home. You know, in the islands, you sit on the side of the ute. I was on there, and then I just remember, oh, here I am. Yeah, that's it. So there's about
I've had that feeling.
There's about an hour and a half, 2 hours of, well, I don't remember what happened.
Yeah, I've had that feeling before.
Just a blackout. All righty. Let's move on and we'll have a look at last week's big games. And, of course, we start down south in Christchurch where the Crusaders hosted the Reds and, well, it was almost a perfect storm. Unfortunately for Queensland Reds fans, they had to travel across the Tasman down to Christchurch on a cold, horrible Christchurch winter night, and they faced a Crusaders team who were, they were on fire. Their forward pack was just so dominant, and it just set the scene right from the outset, Shirley.
Yeah, I think as soon as we saw the weather forecast, we all predicted that the Crusaders were going to dial up a typical playoff performance, and that's exactly what they did. Like you said, that forward pack, so physical, led by Scott Barrett, their skipper, but even that whole front row, even though Tamaitu Williams only played, 30-odd minutes, like they were just into everything, dominating every collision. I thought Blackadder and Christian Leo Willie were really good as well. But yeah, this wasn't exactly a high-scoring spectacle in terms of entertainment factor. It was more one for the purists, and in tough conditions, the Crusaders just rolled up their sleeves, really, and strangled the Reds, forced them into errors, plugged corners well. I thought David Harvey was really good too. And yeah, that they just strangled their opposition in what was a quality playoff performance. I think that they will have a tougher task this weekend, that's for sure. But the Crusaders were certainly there to play, and they turned it on.
Pity, they were very, very impressive. The Crusaders started off with a try to captain Scott Barrett. Tamaitu Williams scored a try before he went off injured. It was a very, very good all-round performance.
Yeah, we've always talked about when they're in playoffs, they've got it's like they've got a switch where they know how to play footy, but not overplay their hand. But I thought the Reds played pretty well considering. I thought they definitely pushed them. I mean, it was 12-0 at half time. They created opportunities, but just weren't able to capitalise on them. And we know what the Crusaders are like when it comes to finals footy, how they can turn a switch on and get themselves into that finals footy mode. But yeah, I think they definitely pushed the Crusaders, even though, I mean, their points come pretty late in the game, but I thought they done pretty well. But we knew that the Crusaders at home would be a tough ask to go down there and get the dub. And I guess this week they're going to have an even harder task. And I mean, it was pretty crack up listening to the commentary after the game that Crusaders haven't lost a playoff game, and then
Home one.
Our home coach reckons yet.
Oh.
One yet.
Oh.
Lost one yet.
Well. Certainly, this has been a huge turnaround by the Crusaders from last season where they didn't make the playoffs. They finished second in the regular season behind the Chiefs, but right now you could argue that they're playing the best footy of any team in Super Rugby, and they get the opportunity to, if they win this weekend, to have the final at Apollo Projects, and that would be a fitting farewell to the stadium before they move to their brand new spanking one.
Yeah, it would. And like you said, the ball's in their court now, right? They've kind of got everything in front of them, and that's a dangerous proposition for every other team in Super Rugby, because it's not often the Crusaders get presented an opportunity like that and don't make it count. And I think we've just seen the benefit of them being a lot more healthy this year. They really struggled last year with injuries, and they welcome back Will Jordan for that game. They've got Razzle in the back line, but they've mainly done it off the back of their forward pack and just how physical and dominant they've been, laying a platform. And I thought they were going to struggle without a genuine first five, world-class first five, I should say, because they do have some good 10s, but not quite proven at that highest level yet. But I think whoever's worn that 10 jersey has really stepped up for them, and I think we also saw how good David Harvey can be on the weekend too, and how much he takes that responsibility off those playmakers as well, just with his kicking game and his ability to plug corners and just lessen a bit of the low. But yeah, they're a tough team, and I saw the low this weekend for Saturday's game is -1 degrees. So if the Blues think they're going to go down there and be treated to some nice conditions too, it might not be raining, but it's going to be cold, and it'll be another Christchurch special, that's for sure.
Wonder how they're going to use that, because I think they were using cowbells and all that for Bodie, the training, practicing that. Well, I don't know how they're going to turn the temperature down. And
well, apparently they're going to train at Snow Planet.
Oh, yeah. Down the slope.
I just made that up, but it's a bloody good idea, actually. So Stern Vern, reach out.
The slope.
Searley's right, though. The Crusaders, to be fair, have been spoilt with number 10s over the last 2 decades. If you go back to Andrew Mertens, then into Dan Carter, they've had world-class number 10s. But with the likes of Ray Hana, who's been very, very good for them this season, but in a more of a sort of managerial role. He doesn't have to be as dynamic or as brilliant as a Dan Carter. He just needs to play his role in that back line, and he's done that very, very well. And then when O'Connor's come on, he's just continued that sort of momentum. So I guess they've had to sort of design their game their game plan slightly different to what they have done in previous years when they've had the likes of Mertens and Carter.
Yeah, like Surly said, I think it helps when you've got Havili there to help out. Obviously, he's played in 10 himself, but I mean, having him to talk to Rehana about what they should be doing as a leader. And I guess they probably learned from last year too, knowing that they didn't have the depth in that area and how they could, I guess, change the style of footy that they got, or run it differently to what they're used to with, like you said, the likes of Mertz, DC, Richard Moonga, and world-class 10s. Not saying that Rehana's not world-class, but I mean, he's definitely slowly filling that role. And I think he's sort of just building slowly in terms of the confidence. And that's usually when most of the first 5 show up is around now, because they need to step up, be in control of the game, driving, and making sure that they get the team down the right end of the field. And you've got the likes of, Havili on the outside that can help communicate that. It was a bit like World Cup for us when we lost DC. What we were going to do. Obviously, Slady came in. We also had Aaron Cruden come in, and then the saviour in Beaver. But it was basically when those two boys came, Aaron Cruden and Beaver, we let them just play footy, and there was enough of us around them to help them just play footy while we help, get us in the right ends of the field, and so that they weren't feeling too pressured or anything like that. So I feel that's what the Crusaders have learnt from last year, is we may not have a world-class 10 just yet. So how are we going to fix that issue with the guys around the person wearing that 10 jersey? And I think the way that they've been playing this year has showed that.
Very good. Second game saw the number 1 seed, well, they were, not anymore, the Chiefs host the Blues, and in a very, very tight match, the Blues, with a try, what was it, in the 83rd minute, got home 20-19 over the Chiefs, which meant the Blues have snuck into the playoffs. And remember, they needed a couple of results to go their way in the final round of the regular season just to make the playoffs. And now here they are in the semifinals, and they're looking very, very dangerous, Surly. But off that performance, it was... I mean, there were very few tries. We had to wait until the 60-something minute before the first try of the match. It was just one of those old-fashioned slogs that we're used to seeing. And in the end, the Blues were just wanted it a wee bit more. I don't know if it's because the fact that the Chiefs knew they were going to go through regardless if they won or lost, whether that meant the Blues just had that wee bit more, I guess, we need to win this one.
Yeah, I can say the Chiefs were gutted, that's for sure, because they wanted to control their destiny with a home final, and anytime they play the Blues, they want to beat them too. There is a genuine rivalry there, and they hate losing to those guys, especially this modern-day Blues team, which, as we've seen, can be quite vocal off the back of wins, and fair enough too. I'm all for that. I love that. I reckon it promotes the game in the best way possible, and I'm sure a lot of the build-up this week will be speaking about that as well. But yeah, this was an old-fashioned, just physical game, 2 forward packs going at it, 2 10s trying to put their team in the right position to win, and in the end, it just came right down to the wire. Desire probably got the Blues over the line. Of course, Chiefs missing a couple big names. I think the ruling out of Luke Jacobson closer to kickoff was huge for the Chiefs as well, because he's been so good for them this year. He's so physical. He's their leader, and he just is willing to put his body in the darkest places to try and get them the result. But although you said no tries until the 60-odd minute, this was an entertaining game, and you could tell both teams wanted to win it. And well done to the Blues, because 5 or 6 weeks ago, it didn't look like this would be possible. If they make the finals, they're going to have to do it the hardest way possible and knocking off the Chiefs at home and the Crusaders at home. But if they can do that, then the confidence they would head into a final would be massive as well. So you don't write them off yet. This is the most they've looked like last year over the last couple of weeks, that's for sure.
Pretty. The guts that the Blues showed in that game were just sensational, and they seem to be just bubbling away at the right time of the season. It seems like, look, they've had a few injury. Every team's had their injury sort of problems or issues, but they're coming at the right time of the season, and they're looking to go back to back.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty footy. Entertaining, but it just wasn't pretty. I mean, like both teams had opportunities. Obviously, both of them stopped each other in terms of momentum shifts and things like that. So it was a massive game, and like I mean, we have spoken about it. The other Blues sort of getting into that phase where they sort of didn't peak too early, got it done enough to get themselves to the playoffs, and now they're sort of in that stage where they're just slowly building to the style of footy that we've seen them play like last year, and a few games, obviously a bit slow at the start of the campaign, but they've just slowly been chipping away at it. But I thought that from then they had good patience, to stay in the fight. Like like we said, the first try was until like around the 60th minute, but I mean, that didn't bother them. They pretty much stuck to their guns, had enough confidence to know that they could actually push the Chiefs. And I guess this was one of the opportunities. Like I think the last two encounters against the Chiefs, their pack had been dominated and bullied a bit, and now they've actually stepped up. Especially on the weekend, they stepped up definitely and showed that they can actually bully the bullies. So it was huge from them, especially when they played in their first half of 14 players, and being able to maintain, not get a try during that period of time that the yellow card was off. So it was huge from them. And I mean, this is a good chance for them to go down south. And although it won't be nice because it's meant to be cold, but they'll definitely want to go down there and prove a point.
Rightio, the final match of the round had the potential to be a dead rubber, but with the result in the Chiefs Blues game meant that it was all on. Winner goes through to the semi-finals. Loser, season is over. And unlike the Chiefs Blues match, there were 2 tries inside the first 10 minutes of the Brumbies Hurricanes game, and it was a very much an open and flowing match. Surely those Brumbies, that their short passing is just, I think it's the best in the competition. The ability to put someone in a gap and away for a try is just so impressive. And unfortunately for the Hurricanes, they were just a wee bit better on the night.
Yeah, they were. I think the Brumbies deserved this one. I thought their forward pack was massive, which they have been all year, but I think I saw the Canes conceded double the amount of turnovers that the Brumbies did, and you just can't do that against a quality team with a good skill set and attacking weapons that can make you pay. I think they got a really underrated back three that can be very exciting on their day, and you don't want to kick them ball or allow them opportunities to attack off turnover or down short sides because they'll turn that into points as well. But yeah, I just thought the Canes lacked a bit of punch up front at times. I think losing a Safoa Moore was massive for them just to get them some gain line and help allow them to play that style of rugby that they've been playing over the last month or so. But yeah, well, that starting front row for the Brumbies turned on 4 tries, so no doubt they'll be fizzed with themselves. And yeah, they've earned themselves a trip across the ditch because I think they've been so consistent all year and they've gone under the radar. It's just whether they can do it away from home against the Chiefs side that will be stinging this weekend.
The Brumbies played very, very well in that big game on Saturday night. The Hurricanes, as Surly mentioned, Omua out meant the sort of balance of the side wasn't quite there. Of course, Braden Yossi has been out as well, so that the loose forward trio also didn't quite have the same balance as they've had for the last sort of 4 weeks or so. So a good performance from the Hurricanes, but once again, just falling short.
Yeah, I think they create, like you said, 2 tries in the first 10 minutes of the game. Like I think both teams were there to chance their arm, play a bit of expensive footy. I think Ruben Love was on the receiving end of a few offloads from Peter, and then shifting it onto the edge as well, which was huge. But then in saying that, the attack of the Brumbies has been awesome this season. Like they've shown different elements to their attack, and to back it up, they've been pretty solid when it comes to the defence side of it. And after half time, you always want to try and score the first points of the game or score the first try. And I think them scoring before half time and then after half time first, I think that might have shattered the Hurricanes in terms of what they wanted to achieve. I think they would have been happy to go into half time 14-0 and then regroup and hopefully come out firing in that second half. But I mean, the Brumbies showed exactly what they're like at playoffs times, and they've won enough titles or been in the playoffs enough times to know what it's like to be in big situations and how to stay on top of it.
Shirley, do you think with the Brumbies getting through and thereby an Australian team making it through to the semi-finals, it's better for the competition as opposed to having 4 New Zealand teams in the semi-final? Or stuff the Aussies, get as many Kiwi teams in there as we can?
Oh, just being selfish, how good would it have been if it was 4 Kiwi teams in the semis, just because the rivalry and the build-up this week would have been exceptional. But you can't take it away from the Brumbies. They're in the semi-finals basically every year. They're always locked into that 3rd or 4th position. They never fall any lower than that. They're so consistent. And when you actually watch them play, like guys like Tom Wright and that, they're some of the best attacking talents in the game on their day, and they're quite often on their day as well. So I think we so often undersell how good they are just because of how consistent they are, how machine-like that forward pack is. But that's a skill set in itself to be able to replicate that every week. And then they really do have some strike. They're an exciting team to watch when they move the ball. So, yeah, well done to the Brums. I would have liked to have seen an all-Kiwis semi-final just from a selfish point of view. But when you look at the Brumbies and the Reds, who were really good this year, and unfortunately their season ended. The Tars, they're probably kicking themselves after a strong start, but they fell away. And the Force were probably one of the surprise packages of the comp for 70% of this season. You'd have to say it's an improvement from the Aussie teams for sure.
Do you think if say the Brumbies, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you never know.
Yeah.
They win.
Yes.
Whoa.
If the Blues win.
Yep.
You reckon there'll be a Force at home?
100%.
Oh, they'd be favourites, wouldn't they?
Surely.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be just. That's spitballing around around the Chiefs losing to them.
Well,
but I mean, like
question as well. Do you think the Chiefs should be on the road this week? Because it seems like if you lose that game, you should become the bottom qualifier, right?
I agree that.
Well, I don't know, but I mean, you work your ass off to finish at the top, right?
Yeah.
So I believe you still have that opportunity. Whether if you lose in that quarter, you still earn the right to have hosting rights. I reckon.
No, I don't like it. I do not like it.
Well, that's just like if your Wales team finish 1 or 2.
What?
And they get to the playoffs, lose.
Yeah.
You're saying that they should not, with their second life, be able to host a home playoff.
This is rugby union, okay?
Oh, see, you were about to say, no, you're correct. You're right.
No.
So I still think they're like, they've definitely earned that right to host the semi-final, for sure. Although I know that they lost, I still think because they finished at the top, they've played consistently for this whole competition, that they do deserve to have hosting rights.
All right. I take your point. I don't like it, but I take it.
We'll take it.
Well, the Brumbies remind me of another team from Canberra who play in green all the time. They always seem to be there around when we get to the knockout stage of the competition. They just seem to, regardless of what's going on around them. So the Brumbies, they deserve to be in the semi-finals. They've played well all season, and they played well.
You reckon they'll try and steal the Viking clap for the as well?
Now it'll be like a clippity clop because of the Brumbies, isn't it?
What was
That was a clippity clop.
What's a clippity clop?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that one out.
The horses, the Brumby. Well, moving on.
We've reached a new low. Oh, wow.
Yeah. To the clippity clop.
Okay, let's bring this podcast right back around again. And it's been a super weekend for Kiwi sports all around the world. We had the All Whites in an international friendly against Cote d'Ivoire, the Ivory Coast, picking up a win against a team who are ranked around 20-odd positions higher than them on the world rankings. We had Ryan Fox winning the Canadian Open on the PGA Tour and thereby qualifying for the US Open, which is on this weekend, Oakmont, picking up a whole heap of cash. So Ryan Fox, well, of course, Fox Senior, played for the All Blacks and was part of that 1987 Rugby World Cup winning team. So if you look at Ryan Fox, what position do you think he would be best suited to in Super Rugby? I've got an idea, but Surly, where do you think Ryan Fox would slot into the forward pack or the back line?
Yeah, I struggled with this one. Looking up his dimensions, his stats, about 1.8 meters, 98 kilos. Originally, I was thinking like a hooker because he's so powerful, especially through the hips. The amount of force he can put on a golf ball, I thought that would be a good position for him just based off his build, but I'm not too sure. That's probably the way I would go at the moment, but 98's a bit light for a hooker as well. So, yeah, a little bit puzzled on this one, but I dare say genetically he'd have the skill set to play 10. It's just a slightly different frame for a first five.
Pity, Ryan Fox?
I was thinking either hooker or 12, just because of the build. And I know a few boys that were pretty short in stature, but they could actually hit people when they got their timing right. And he's definitely, when he hit that 3-wood, he's definitely got the bloody power.
Yeah.
So mine was either, like Shirley, the hooker, but 12 as well.
Yeah.
He'll definitely have the skill set to catch and pass.
Yeah. He looks like a second five inside centre for mine. It just looks like with that power, he'd probably be able to knock you back in that defensive line. Or I thought fullback maybe. I thought he's probably got the skills to be able to sort out the back line from behind, and I'd say he'd be very, very safe under the high ball as well. So
1.8. Oh, I don't know about the...
Yeah, is he tall enough?
Will Jordan or Shooter, they're pretty tall.
Oh, hold on a minute.
He'll have to freaking make sure he's got go gadget arms.
What? 1.8?
6 foot on the nose, yeah.
Oh, right. Is that short now?
Well, in terms of fullback, yeah.
Well, for professional athletes it is, Paulie. For you and I, that's a great height, mate. I'm 1.79, but I round up to 1.8, and I like to think, I'm a decent size.
So I round it to 182.
Yeah, there we go.
Is that with my pulp high heel?
Yeah, I guess 12 though, right? Because you'd have to think, like he's played a bit of backyard footy with his old man growing up too, so he's probably got a boot on him as well. So a nice second kicking option at 12 as well as the power. He could be like a Geordie Barrett type of footballer there, a David Harvilli type, just a little bit shorter.
Or even just a Levi O'Moore. Obviously not the same size as
Levi.
But definitely he's got that build to, be a
Mapi.
Deadly. I'm happy.
Where is Laumape now? Japan.
Coming back.
Oh, is he? Is he coming back?
I think so.
Moana.
Oh, yeah, nice.
I hope so. They just lost 15 players, basically. So
Yeah.
Wow.
Who else is over in Japan that can come?
Righty-ho. Let's look forward to the semifinals this weekend. The first match sees the Crusaders up against the Blues. This seems like a matchup that we've seen in the playoffs or in the finals so many times during the Super Rugby tenure. The bookmakers have the Crusaders as favourites at $1.42. The Blues at $2.70. Crusaders are 5.5-point favourites at home, and the game total is set at 51.5. Surly, how do you see this one panning out?
this is going to be a great game, and it is going to be so physical, and it's two forward packs that are just going to go at it and try lay a platform for their team. And in a way, you could almost sing it a bit of 10-man rugby, right? Guys like Will Jordan and that will have an impact, and he's probably the 10th guy for the Crusaders. But I think both forward packs are just going to go at this one in cold conditions. Bodie's going to look to put them in the right areas, and Scott Barrett and co are going to look to try and dominate every collision. But Patrick Tuipulotu and those boys won't roll over as well. And that's one matchup I'm looking forward to, because I feel like Paddy is so inspirational for this Blues team. And when you watch him on the weekend, he's so physical. It's good to see him healthy again. And that matchup up against Scott Barrett and that Crusaders pack, I reckon this is going to be so close. And it's two teams that clearly don't like each other. The Blues are a bit more vocal about it. The Crusaders will try and play that humble card, and there won't be too much chat coming out of their camp. But this is going to be one to watch for sure. And I reckon it's going to have test match intensity to it, especially around the breakdown and at set piece.
Pity?
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a tough one. I think it's, like Silly said, it'll be down to the game drivers putting them down on the right end of the field. But I can sort of see that being a bit boring, and then someone's just going to have a crack, and then it's going to be potentially a bad call, or it might pay off. It just depends on how good their game is. And if you've got Bodie at the back there waiting for his opportunity to do a bit of counter, running against the Crusaders after they've made a couple of kicks down the field, I'm sure he'll wait for that opportunity, and you need to make sure that you're sharp on your game. But I think there's a lot of matchups that are going to be huge to watch. I know Rico won't be quiet about how things will go, and I mean, everyone's sort of not giving them a chance, really. They've ridden the Blues off, and I guess this is their chance to actually step up and I guess shut down all their doubters.
Surly, do you think this is a game that whoever wins the battle up front will go a long way towards actually winning the game?
I think so. When you look at both backlines, they're both stacked with so much talent and strike, right? But I do genuinely think that come this time in finals footy and these two forward packs, the way they've played over the last couple of weeks, when they've dominated those areas, they've basically gone on to win the game. And when you look back at the last matchup these two teams played, I think it was a James O'Connor penalty in the 82nd or 83rd minute that got them the win. I expect it to be just as close a margin. Of course, James O'Connor won't be there, so whether that makes a difference. But yeah, this is going to be some game, and I can't wait for it.
The second semi-final Saturday night in Hamilton. The Chiefs hosting the Brumbies. The Chiefs are $1.22. The Brumbies are $4. Chiefs are 10.5-point favourites in that semi-final, and the game total is set at 53.5. Surly, your boys, can they bounce back after that loss last weekend?
I think so, definitely. They'll be motivated for it, and I expect them to have Jacobson and Wallace Satiti back in the starting lineup. And yeah, I think, look, the Brumbies, they've been so good all year, but I do think away from home in Hamilton, the Chiefs should be too strong. And I expect D-Mac and Coda albeit at their best, and really look to try and do everything they can to ensure that they're in the final. They'll be motivated over the last couple of years and their failures over the last couple of seasons as well, and they'll be saying that there's quite a few guys here where this is their window to win it, and they'll be wanting to make sure that they take care of the job at home on Saturday night, because they'll be stinging off the back of that loss from the Blues.
Well, I think the other part of that too is like, I mean, the Chiefs created so many opportunities. They just weren't patient enough to, capitalize on them. So I think they'll take those learnings from last weekend against the Blues and make sure that they're a lot more patient in this encounter against the Brumbies. So, but in saying that, they've got to keep an eye on the Brumbies and their attack. Their attack's been pretty outstanding. Like you said, Tom Wright has been huge. Their back three has been massive. Threats across the board. So I don't think it'll be easy, but I do think that the team that's probably playing a lot better is definitely the Chiefs. But it's just whether they can be patient enough in the green zone on attack and not blow those opportunities.
Look, we've got the potential here, Surly, to have a repeat of last season's Super Rugby final. There's a couple of, motivations for the Chiefs here. First of all, to win. And if the Blues do tip over the Crusaders, the Chiefs will get the final back at home and a chance to redeem themselves after, well, the final just did not go their way at all last year.
Yeah, there's plenty of storylines for every team, basically, isn't there? When you look at the Crusaders off the back of their disappointing season last year, that would be a massive turnaround, which would be a great storyline. You got the Blues, they were down and out 6 weeks ago. Everyone had written them off, basically. If they then came back to win the competition, that would be huge. The Brumbies pulling it off as the one Aussie side to make it this far and haven't won a title in a long time as well, and they'd have to do it away from home, really, regardless, unless the Blues get up down there as well, which is that nightmare situation that Pity described. And then you've got the Chiefs with guys like Shooter and that moving on, the heartbreak of the last 3 or 4 years as well. So there's some great narratives. Either way, we're going to get a really good final. I just hope it is the Battle of the Bombays again. I want to see it down at FMG. Why not? And I reckon there's a really good shot. I mentioned before James O'Connor won't be there. He will be there in this game, of course, but I don't think he'll get the opportunity. I reckon the Blues win it.
Which way are you leaning at the moment?
What, for both both games, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just like Shirley said, I'd be keen to see last year's final again. But in saying that, like, the Crusaders have turned things around after last year's efforts and have been chipping away with their campaign this season. Some tight games that they've won. A couple of causes went their way, especially their last encounter over in Canberra against the Brumbies. So I guess for them it's just making sure that they which we know they can, play quality playoff footy. It's just whether they can contain all that pressure. I know the Blues put a lot of pressure on the Chiefs on the weekend, and usually they're pretty good around that area of when it comes to pressure. They don't try and force the arm as much as they did on the weekend. So I feel like it'll be a good game. I do want to see a repeat of last year's final. But I'm just going to have to sit on the fence on this one. It's too hard to sort of pick because there's 4 quality teams playing good footy, and every game that they've played leading up to the playoffs hasn't been easy. They've all had good build-ups to playoffs, which has set them up. I mean, you look at the Blues; they didn't have an easy way home. Had a bye and had to make sure that they, continue their momentum leading into the playoffs, and it's just shown how good it can be when you've got good quality games leading up to it.
I've got a question for Surly now. If the Blues do beat the Crusaders and the Chiefs beat the Brumbies, are you going to be at Go Media Stadium next Saturday, or will you be down at? I mean, the Chiefs need to know where you're going to be.
That is a tough one. I think the Warriors are at 5 p.m., aren't they? Chiefs at 7:05.
Oh, you're going to get on your helicopter.
If the Chiefs could organise a helicopter, maybe Shooter with all that yen he's making over at Kubota, he could fly me down on the old private plane. That would be nice. But yeah, Paulie, you and I both know that I will be at Mount Smart Stadium, but I will certainly be tuning into that game because, yeah, I'd love to see the Chiefs win it. I just think they've deserved to win it over the last couple of years, but they've fallen short. So you could argue they haven't deserved to win it, but I think they've been the best team in Super Rugby over the last 3 or so years. So I'd love to see them get a title. But yeah, in a way, that Crusaders Blues game, I don't mind who wins that one too much. I just want to make sure the Chiefs beat the Brumbies so that it's an all New Zealand final rather than it going over, the potential of it going over to Canberra. For some reason, that one makes me more nervous just because whenever you write off the Brumbies, right, they're a team capable of upsetting anyone in the competition. And the fact that they come in as such big underdogs, like there's literally no pressure on them. And that'll be the story that they'll be telling themselves all week, is that no one's giving them a shot. They're almost out of sight, out of mind over here. Everyone's already talking about Crusaders Blues and how good of a game that's going to be. And we all expect the Chiefs to win. So that comes with its own pressures as well.
I don't think the helicopter's coming for Surly, to be fair. With the Kubota relationship, the best you'll get is a tractor, I would say. So
it could be a supercharged one, mate, surely.
Maybe a Can-Am.
Rocket powered.
Have fuel for
Righty, hope time to get to a wee bit of punting, and hopefully one of us can make a wee bit of money during the semi-finals. We'll head to Surly first. Surly, where are you going to put your $100 this weekend?
I've gone $80 on the Blues plus 12.5 into the Chiefs minus 3.5. Chucked 80 on that, and then my other 20, I'm going Blues 1 to 12 at $3.70. Chasing a bit of odds there because my first bet was quite conservative, and I'm hoping that we'll get a repeat of last year's final.
Yeah, Surly, he loves those alternate point starts, those alternate lines. He's getting stuck into them.
They haven't really rewarded me, to be fair. And I always think I make it more conservative when I should just stick to the actual line, and I probably would have won a few bets, but hey.
Pity?
I'm going to go with first points, scoring points, and I'm going to put 50 on the Crusaders to score the first, or score try to open up the encounter. I'll put 50 on that, and then
the Crusaders
to score
the first scoring play to be a Crusaders try.
Yep.
Okay. Yep.
And then I'm going to go with a draw at halftime for the Chiefs Brumbies into the Chiefs to win.
He's back.
Yeah.
He's back.
Put 50 on that.
So a draw at halftime between the Chiefs and Brumbies, and then the Chiefs to actually win the game.
Yep.
Righty-ho.
Paulie, I'm interested in your takes here because you often just ask the questions. You don't tell us what you think is going to happen, and you haven't said who you think is going to win these semi-finals. So your bets will finally tell us which way you're thinking.
Well, I'm not sure if they will because I'm not taking
alternative lines.
I'm not taking alternative lines. I'm not taking who's going to win the game. Look, as we record this on a Tuesday morning, the teams haven't been named, but I'm just going to have a couple of try scorer bets this weekend. I'm going to take a $60 double. I'm going to go Sevu Reece to score a try into D-Mac to score a try. And then I'm going to have $20 on Sevu Reece to score 2 or more tries.
Oh.
And I'm going to have $20 on D-Mac just to score a try. There we go.
I got to say that that promo last week was great for that Crusaders Reds game. I had Tamati Williams, a few of the boys had Scotty Barrett, so there would have been a few winning bet slips, I reckon, because it was smart to go forwards for that type of promotion, right?
Yes, yeah, and I think the bookies put out a power play. I think it was either you get Barrett and Tamati Williams to be the first try scorer, and it was out at around. I think it was out around $15. And there were quite a few that jumped on that. So there were a number of very, very good winning bets. Obviously, none from us three, but then again, we didn't know those power plays weren't out when we recorded sort of thing, because the team
we would have had them. We would have had them. Yeah, for sure.
Because I love the power plays. They're a great little thing. You have a look down the list and then find one that just takes your interest. And as Shirley says, so these games can be forward dominated, and with the way the Crusaders have been playing, you know that they were going to be going over from short, and it set it up for the likes of Scott Barrett, Tamati Williams. I think Blackadder will be a chance this weekend. He's getting fitter, looking a lot better as we head towards the international part of the season.
Is there money on or bets on picking people that get yellow carded?
You could just go to be a yellow card, can't you?
You can. Not which player will get the yellow card, but you can go, will there be a yellow card in the game? Yes, no. Or will there be a red card in the game? Yes, no. Yeah. What, are you going to change your mind now?
No, I was just asking.
Oh, okay.
Paulie, can you tell us who goes through the final then? Because you've managed to avoid it this whole time.
The Chiefs are through, and they'll be heading to Christchurch next week to take on the Crusaders.
There you go.
That's what I think. And then the Blues will upset it all, and then we'll be back in Hamilton for a big rematch. Righty-ho, so St. Pat Silverstream this weekend?
Yep, and then got to sign my boy up to match play tourney on Sunday at Judgeford for his club, and see how he goes for that.
What's his club? Wainui?
Judgeford.
Oh, that's his club,
Yeah.
Judgeford?
Yep.
Righty-ho. Oh, nice.
No, it's not nice, especially when you have to take him.
Especially that first hole straight up.
And then start getting around to three.
Up again.
Oh, damn it. You got me, mate.
Should we just play the back nine?
Yeah, pretty much. There's no bloody... Oh, not too many hills.
No, nah. Shirley, you must be back on the field this weekend.
Yeah, we've got our old mates Takapuna, so and they actually they just gave North Shore their first loss in 36 games on the weekend too. I got to say the Moana leaving the competition early has really helped Takapuna. Their bench was absolutely stacked. So yeah, we've got a big game this week. The old Les Pearce Shield, which is like the Ramfurley, that's up for grabs again after they took it off us in round one. So yeah, looking forward to that game.
Beautiful.
Playing for you this weekend?
He's up coaching Takapuna.
Now, we've got our Ryder Cup golf tournament this weekend.
Oh.
And so we're playing Fielding first day, and then Brightwater, Palmerston North second day, all on 16 against 16.
Is that up there? Both games?
Both, yeah.
Courses up that way?
Yeah, both up there. There's plenty of... there's plenty of your whānau going to be in there. Wow, Wainui whānau, anyway.
So what's your best part of your game? Is it your short game, your drive, your irons, putting?
Entertainment at the 19th hole. I really start to really get into my own then.
How can you compete with all the whānau from Wainui? If there's a microphone and music at a garage, you're going to be missing out.
Oh, no, there's a battle, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, don't worry about that.
You've got to bring your own microphone just to be heard by the sounds of it.
Yeah, and some do.
I can imagine.
They bring their own karaoke kit. Righty-ho, that's it. All the best against Silverstream. All the best against against.
Whoa!
All the best. I did what?
Good luck, bro.
Yeah.
Hopefully you get the dub and take that shield back.
Yeah,
Thanks, bro. Good luck to your lads too, and go the Chiefs and go the Blues. Hey, Paulie.
Yeah, 100%. Well, no, I think the Crusaders are going to win, but I wouldn't mind seeing a repeat of last year's Super Rugby final where the Chiefs played the Blues. So, because there'd be a whole lot on there. There'd be a bit of chat during the week, I'm sure, and I'd look forward to that. That's it. We've come to the end of another Pick and Go podcast. Thanks to Pity, thanks to Shirley, and thanks to you guys out there for watching and listening. We'll be back next week when we've got the Super Rugby final to look forward to.